Hello Beardy buddies and welcome to the workshop. In today's project we're going to be working on this here engine. My son here has been working on restoring it. As you can see, he's got it all painted up nice, but it's leaking some oil. So today we're going to look at putting a new gasket in and keeping the oil contained inside the engine. But first, a little history about this engine. It all started about 4 years ago when we went to China to adopt our youngest daughter, and our oldest son came with, and he became obsessed with airplanes. Fast forward 2 years, and then he decides that he's going to build his own airplane. As you can see here, he spent many summers working on it. Even has working ailerons. Okay, but what every airplane needs for its maiden voyage is an engine. And we just so happened to have an engine off of the wheel horse, and that was a 3-horse engine, which, as you know, probably isn't going to be powerful enough to fly this engine, or to fly this airplane. So what he decides to do is, thinking he can make it more powerful, he tears it apart with a hacksaw, and then shortly after realizes that he's done more harm than good. He abandons it to lay in the weeds for about a year or so, until this last spring when he gets the itch to restore it, fix it up. So he spent a great portion of this spring putting that engine back together, digging through the woods where he dumped it to find missing pieces, and got it running again, believe it or not. So that's kind of the history behind that engine. That's where it's at. Hopefully I can find some videos of him working on it and our first startup when we got it running. But yeah, it kind of all started here with this airplane. So I thought maybe you'd think that was kind of cool for a 12-year-old to build this airplane all by himself. So let's get back to the workshop. We'll get you set up and we'll start tearing into the engine. All right, welcome back. So now we're going to start working on this thing. So as you can see, there's oil all over the bench. And you can see here and here were the two areas that were hacksawed and then filled with some putty. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these bolts off, and we have a gasket. We'll just crack them loose with the wrench. Okay, and we'll use the Okay, now we'll have to try to break it loose. So there, we got it off. Let's look. It definitely looks like it was leaking underneath here. Can you guys see that? Soupy the oil is. Looks like we're going to need to change the oil too. Rag back here. So first thing we're going to want to do is try to clean this surface off so that we get a good seal. So right now, you can see here and here are the areas where there was some hacksawing going on. It actually looks like this epoxy isn't sticking either. So that could be another problem. All right. We're going to do our best. The fact that we even got this engine running again is kind of amazing. To be honest with you, I was pretty surprised. He had brought this over to my dad's house to kind of help him tear it apart too, because I was a little busy at the time. And my dad had given up. He said the piston had seized into the cylinder. He got it unseized and he put it back together, and they tried to run it and they couldn't get it started. And so they brought it home, and there was a lot of disappointment. Set it on the driveway and I pulled it a couple times and it fired up, and I was pretty surprised about that. So, okay, and then we do the same for this. We want to make sure this area is good and clean, but you can definitely see there was some oil down here, and it doesn't look like there's any hint of gasket, which is kind of surprising me. Also, we were planning on putting a muffler on it today. I went into the store and picked one up. It turned out to be too big. It didn't fit, so that might be a project for another day. On this piece, we could probably get the brass wire wheels to clean up the surface. There's a little chip out of that. See that? Mm-hmm. It's a hot day in Minnesota. We have, it's very humid too. We got mosquitoes out. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting a bunch of dirt and dust in there. Alright, I think we're going to put gasket material on it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But first, let's make sure that the gasket fits. Looks like we have a good fit, so that's good. So I think now I'm going to turn it over to elf number 1 here. And while he's working on that one, I'll just keep cleaning up on this thing too. I think some of the problem might be that the lip of this epoxy on this side is too high, and so it's not sealing correctly. So if I can grind that off a little bit. There's definitely some oil seeping up through here, which makes me think that this epoxy didn't seal well.
Well, the first time when I did that epoxy, I didn't mix it very well. That side is mixed way better, and it's way...
But you can still see there's oil getting up underneath it, in between in that crack,
right,
and where this metal is. So this might be kind of a lost cause. I'm thinking just putting a new gasket on probably isn't going to fix it. And
Right.
really the right way to do it would be to weld that crack shut, and that might be a future project, as I don't have a welder right now. My dad does. So that might be something we have to do. This one looks, that one's got the same problem. So if I just squeeze these two epoxy sides, you'll see that there's some oil that's squeezing out, and it's probably just running right underneath here, which it is. So I'm thinking that that's the actual problem, now that we dig into it. That's okay. Put the gasket on it for now.
Because we do think it's leaking too from there. There's probably multiple leak sources.
Yeah, it was leaking quite a bit, so even if we can slow it down a little bit for a little while anyway, that would be good.
Right,
Okay.
That side pretty good. Yeah, so just working. Okay.
You're gonna work on this now?
Yep.
Okay. Let's, can you do it standing over there a little bit? There we go.
I don't want to get too much in there.
Make sure that you guys can see good. Good. Okay.
Make sure to get some extra stuff at the bottom where it is.
And we want to make sure that we're going around both sides of the holes.
Mhm.
Okay, so he'll kind of smooth it around. Other way. Now, what does it say on here for the cure time? It says, allow it to air dry until the material becomes tacky. So we might want to just pause for a second after he gets it all smoothed out. Until it's tacky after it's air dried. Alright, welcome back. Well, we gave it about 5 minutes and it's starting to feel pretty tacky. So we are going to go ahead and put this gasket on. Seat it down nice all around. Make sure holes are all open. Okay. Oh, this is a little tricky getting this guy on. Because there's a little bit, there we go. All right.
I spread out the stuff here.
Might as well wait till,
Whoops.
that's fine. Buzz these in a little bit.
Pretty good.
Go back and forth.
That one's good.
I'll tighten them by hand. Get a little better feel on it. Alright, so figured you guys maybe want to hear what it sounds like. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and sign up for notifications. Next week's project, we're hoping to work on an old cast iron sink, figuring out how to get it all cleaned up and restored. So until that time, we'll see you later.